Okay, so Red-Black Titan. We played a deck that was very similar to this in Standard. We're looking to leverage Kroxa here. The curve that's also Standard legal that's very sweet in this deck is you can go Kroxa on 2, Tiamat Calls the Dead on 3, Escape Kroxa on 4 because Calls the Dead fills your graveyard up 2 turns in a row. Cards we gain from Historic are Rekindling Phoenix as another flying evasive threat at the top end of our curve, as well as some copies of Phyrexian Arena here to generate card advantage with. And then we get Dragonskull Summit here in the mana base to make casting our spells more consistent. Do you have any retrospective on the first Historic card choices? Such things as they help flesh out the format if the cards are too strong. I think the only kind of suspect card on the original Historic anthologies is I kind of would prefer Burning Tree Emissary not be introduced to the format. I think Burning Tree Emissary is an incredibly high variance, feels bad Magic the Gathering card that was unnecessary to put in. I think the rest of the selections were good. Something that's also important to remember is that the random Brawl commanders they keep introducing are also Historic legal. So like Talran the Sky Summoner is a card that is Historic legal that we could be playing with, right? That's a card that might be good in this format. Yeah, I agree, Marty. I think they did a good job with the first Historic anthology of picking cards that not only had good synergy, but also were like sweet niche cards like Darksteel Reactor and Leg, second, right? Yeah, I agree. I think Burning Tree Emissary creates bad gameplay in Pioneer as well. Yeah, I agree, Bob. I think they did a good job of like trying to boost archetypes that were just a little bit too weak. Scryland's really coming in clutch here to allow us to find that untapped land to curve 2-3 here. And good morning, Bob, by the way. I know you've liked Historic, Bob. Do you have feedback on... So... This week, I did 3 days of all standard for Arena and 1 day of all Historic. I think next week I'm going to spread it out and I'm going to lead on Historic each day, kind of like I lead on Pioneer. So we'll do like 1 Pioneer League, 1 Historic deck, 2 or 3 standard decks each day. Kind of spread it out a little bit and see how that goes. I think I want to Calls the Dead to start. So running third-party tournaments on Arena is difficult to impossible without better tools provided by Wizards of the Coast. So one of the many ways in which Arena is an incredibly incomplete product is features like tournament support. Yeah, Marty, part of me hopes maybe, you know, once we have another rotation and like there's more to the format, like the format's more uniquely different from standard, maybe they'll care more. I'm gonna bottom the backup Kroxa here. I'm gonna keep the Agonizing Remorse. All right, so am I playing Phoenix and smashing, or am I playing escaping Crocs? I might just escape Crocs here. Like they don't have double black currently for Kaya's Wrath. The problem with escaping Phoenix is that I can't escape this later. Yeah, probably, Bob. Yeah, I agree with that too, Baron. Not only will more Historic anthology sets differentiate it, but just like having more cards be Historic legal that aren't standard legal.
I'm known for my excellent type, not
Alright, so they don't have very much going on here. I just go ahead and do this. And they just have a land in their hand, so I get to exile their Chemist's Insight from their graveyard here. And then exiling the Chemist's Insight also means they're further away from flipping Search for Mazcanta, so that upside from Agonizing Remorse really flexing its muscles there. Andre Ada VAV, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every month. Thanks for sending it my way. When do I expect Pioneer to be available on Arena? I think even if Wizards of the Coast makes getting Pioneer on Arena an absolute priority, it is not going to be here within 3 years at the earliest. Yeah, 2023 I think is a realistic estimate. I probably should have done this. Probably should have done this before I cast this. We won't even like Pioneer by 2023. That's not true. And have a little faith. Liliana sounds good. Kills Dream Trawler. Duress sounds good. Extra Friction Arena sounds reasonable. Eat to Extinction is probably not the axis I want to fight this matchup on. Mire Triton. Put some cards in my bin, but kind of mediocre otherwise. I think I leave a couple in for my escape cards, but don't want all of them. You definitely can, Fearburger. Hey, I appreciate you dropping off that Prime Leaf Blade. Twitch Prime pays my mortgage, so thanks for keeping me around. I don't think Stitcher Supplier is a very good card. Stitcher Supplier is not really a constructed playable card, and I don't think the graveyard payoffs that we have here are strong enough to make it worth playing a 1/1 for 1 effectively. Uashu, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Welcome to Hooglandia. Yeah, that would be great, Bob. I think that would be very, very good. All right, I think I take Dream Trawler to start here and probably plan to take Ashiok the following turn. We'll see. The Enchantment Zombies deck we're going to play next actually has a... has Stitcher Supplier in it, so we'll see how it feels in that deck. Hopefully they mortify this, which means Friction Arena is more likely to live. They might wait for a turn to try and settle the wreckage at next turn, but like my graveyard also doesn't have that many cards in it, so yeah, getting rid of it seems like it makes sense. Yeah, if you're on a desktop, you can mouse over the icons to see how long people have been subbed for, or like what the various Twitch Prime icons are, stuff like that. Oh, you're on mobile. I don't know that mobile has that ability. All right, fine. All right, fine. I've got 4 cards in here. I think Mire Triton's a very good Magic card. The fact that Mire Triton has Death Touch and gains you life makes it a very playable card against aggressive decks. I think it's perfectly reasonable. We got you, Holy.
All your fears are given form. You cannot intimidate me.
I think I just do this. This is a good draw. Lets me kill the Ashiok and then still put pressure into play. Wonder if they're going to sweep the board here, if they have like a Disfigure. Land? Land? I think we just stick this and start drawing some extra cards, huh? Perfect. Grab our 4th red source here. We already have 4 black. Fabled Passage is so good in these escape decks too, just like gives you extra fodder for that.
Let us march into battle and make new comrades. Rise.
To change topic, what do you think of the unsanctioned decks revealed yesterday? Do you get casual interest in those types of format IRL? Or does that really not interest you much because you play so much? Did they release like fully pre-constructed decks? Is that what they did, you said?
Early, but effective.
I'm not familiar with what exactly was revealed yesterday. They are mix and match. Yeah, links are enabled. Chat rules are very simple. Act like an adult, you'll be treated like an adult. Act like a child, you'll be treated like a child. The box is 4 mono-colored 30 precons. You pick any 2 and smash them together into a deck. So one box gives you multiple iterations of 2 decks. If they managed to balance those combinations of cards well, I actually think that sounds like an incredibly sweet thing to do. In fact, one of my complaints or things I talk about with regards to casual Magic is it's tough to balance casual Magic when you just like have open card pools a lot of the time. So I think a pre-constructed thing like that, like that's probably something I will look to buy to play Magic with my kids when I teach them how to play. Product like that sounds very reasonable. Well, they act like children frequently, so, you know. All right, so what's the punish for playing another Phoenix out here? Like double sweeper? They only have 1 card. I'm just gonna YOLO the second Phoenix and hopefully they'll die. Settle could punish if we attack with both. What if your kids like Pokemon more? Sure, they could play Pokemon. I don't care. Pokemon as a card game is actually an incredibly good game. If Pokemon's competitive tournament scene hadn't been such a rancid stain of cheaters and people trying to scum you, I'd probably still be playing some Pokemon today. I like the IP and the gameplay is good. Wyatt the Word Weaver, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for taking the time to drop that off this month. They have a decent online client. They do. Yeah, the Pokemon TCGO client is very good. If you've heard of Eternal card game, it's made by Direwolf Digital, the same company that makes that. Direwolf Digital was also the people that did the original work on the Elder Scrolls Legend digital client. So they're a good software company. I need to hear the story about corruption in Pokemon. Indeed. This was a few years ago. So there's a link on my personal website from 2017. So maybe they've cleaned up their act since then. But the experience was not pleasant. And the big takeaway I always like to highlight from that story too is the issue wasn't necessarily that my opponent was scummy, because scummy people happened everywhere. The issue was that the rules of Pokemon and the way the judge system works there wasn't in place. I really didn't feel like it protected me from being scummed again in the future. We have a great curve here. Kroxa on 2, Call on 3, Kroxa on 4. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Legends is no more, right? Pretty sure that's true. This is a good draw. I think I'd rather do this turn than this. Slow down their acceleration if they have any 5-drops. So we can just play Rekindling Phoenix next turn. This is actually kind of cute that it kills my egg. So like, if they can shock or lightning strike this, they could use this to kill the egg. Gosh, I forgot how good this card is. This card's another part of the reason I played Blue-Red Eldrazi or tried to make it work for so long in Pioneer. I really like Rekindling Phoenix as a Magic card. It is a lot of fun. Super powerful too. The cat comes back, friendo. It could be a newer player. Although, like, is it easy to find your way into this queue as a newer player? You have to toggle a thing, right? Like, you have to toggle the switch. But, like, the default historic queue is best of one, right? Like the play queue. The fact that Calls the Dead gets to exile enchantments too is so good. Yay, Fabled Passage. It is very tilting that Remorse flips the zones around randomly. Agree. All right, so some Noxious Grasps. Got the Phyrexian Arenas. Our main deck seems pretty okay here. Maybe a Libation could even be okay, just because, like, they don't have that many threats. Yeah, this looks fine. Mire Triton gonna get to flex some of its muscles here with Death Touch. Ooh, they could have Carnage. This answers Carnage Tyrant, which is nice. But this can also trade with Carnage Tyrant in combat, and these enable the Kroxa escape, which is just excellent. Yep, there's some elves. So I'm gonna go ahead and fetch now since I know what colors we're playing, just get my auto pass value in. For folks who are my regulars, by the way, today's going to be a little bit shorter stream compared to some of the other ones I've been doing recently. So I'm going to be signing off about 2 o'clock, another 2 hours or so. I think I'm supposed to Agonizing Remorse here. Just try and take whatever their big payoff is. Deals double that damage instead. This is actually really good against my Mire Triton, so... We're actually in a little bit of trouble, and this costs 5, or this costs double red, right? So they can't cast that quite yet. I think I just do this, because if I play Mire, they just stomp it, and that's not great for me. Yep. They hit a red source here. Yeah, I think we're a little bit behind, huh? Need to draw some lands. Okay, that's a start. Do I start with this? If I get this down, if I draw an untapped land, I can play Kroxa. And hey, we milled 2 non-lands, so very clearly it was the right play. This Merfolk kills Carnage Tyrant. It has Death Touch. I think this card's very reasonable. Super reasonable in Standard. They draw Savage Stomp. Reckless Rage. Woof. Yep. I was very upset at the time, Android. Obviously, it's 2 years later now, or 3 years later now, and I'm an adult. But yeah, it was, I was a little bit sad too in a way because like I had a bunch of Pokemon cards. I had like 2 or 3 paper decks, and I was enjoying playing the game. If the Pokemon TCG game had a presence on Twitch, I'd probably stream it on occasion, but it just doesn't. For as big as an IP as Pokemon is, their Twitch presence just doesn't exist. Like, if you pull up the Twitch section for Pokemon TCGO right now, like at this moment in time, there are currently 108 people watching people play Pokemon TCG online. Yeah, it really is, Marty. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me that their company would spend the money investing in it and like not try and get some type of presence there. Opponent must have had something come up, or they just mulliganed a bunch and didn't want to play. Yeah, it doesn't have lifelink, but it gains 2 life when it comes into play. So it's like lifelink adjacent. It's better than lifelink against red decks a lot of the time. Because that way if they just kill it, you still gain 2. Probably gets dwarfed by the actual video games quite heavily. Yeah, I'd assume so, Fonset. This hand's great. Good 2-3-4 curve. Triton gonna get to flex its muscles again here, most likely. One thing that's a touch awkward with Triton is it's a shame this can't trade with Questing Beast since it only has 2 power. That's pretty good. This card should be quite good in this matchup. If they can't kill the egg, it creates a real brick wall. I think I just play a Phoenix on defense here. Yeah, it's real bad, Kane. It's a fine casual game, but don't touch competitive Pokemon TCG with a 20-foot pole. That part of it's not a good scene. Fabled Passage here, likely going to do some work towards getting our Phoenix of Ash back in the long run, too. Actually could have gotten it back that turn, right? Because of the Mire Triton. Wow, this attack's super aggressive, huh? And then we're in a pretty good spot here, because next turn I get to get my Phoenix back, Agonizing Remorse them, and then Murderous Rider something as well. Yep. That's the one we can't beat. Kinda surprised they didn't just cleave us last turn. I think we'd be in a much worse spot had they done that. There was a link in chat, Wyatt. I don't have the actual blog posts on my website linked. So you have to click in to find them. The second questing beast is pretty good here. We are going to be going to 2, although I do get to play Murderous Rider next turn, which can gain us some life. I think I just get this down. Maybe I'm supposed to maybe I'm supposed to block Bonecrusher and leave the questing beast. If only so, because I can't kill this with spot removal, right? While I'm at 2. The good news is coffees for closers, and this Phoenix about to get itself a cup of joe. When you're escaping here, if you have extra cards to leave in your bin, you want to always make sure to leave creatures and enchantments before instant sorceries and lands, because creatures and enchantments are what Tiamat Calls the Dead cares about. So getting aggressive here because any shock or Ember Cleave kills us at this point. Okay. Is that lethal? That's lethal, right? Oh, wait, no, we're only taking 3. We're good. We're good. We have a draw step here. So this is 7, 11. So that's a good draw. I think I'm supposed to keep attacking, right? Yeah, I think we just hope they brick for a turn. Which means we're dead, obviously. And, like, it's very easy to have hindsight and be like, oh, you're supposed to hold your creature back and be conservative, but pretty confident that we win more games from this position attacking there than holding back. Like putting them to 12 means that an untapped land is lethal next turn. Yeah, so I attacked there because we would kill them the following turn with a land draw. Yeah, they just have so many lethal draws. Even with the non-attack, you had lethal if you draw a land. No, they had blockers, dirty digits. So if I draw the land the following turn, I only have 13 points of damage, and they were at 15. So I needed to take their life total down there so I could kill them the following turn. Yeah, Bonecrusher and Kroxa were also lethal the following turn. It's a lot of lethal draws by putting them on a clock. Had to have one brick there, and they hit it. Yeah, Disfigure probably kills enough stuff. We have Rekindling Phoenix, Dragonskull Summit, and Phyrexian Arena. This hand's very reasonable. We'll bottom a mountain here. Stomp your thing, play a 4/3, or stomp your thing, play Calls the Dead. Yeah, the fact that they found action was just a little bit too much. He did 1 brick and 2 draws. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Tapped land to start. Action. I don't think I remember that one. I'm sorry, that was a joke. All right, that makes sense. So, I think I lead on Calls the Dead because it takes a little bit of time to get set up. I think I decline making a zombie here. Yeah, so Abyssal Snowstorm, every quarter they print 15 cards directly in, or 15 to 20 cards directly into Historic. And Burning Tree Emissary was one of those cards. So in March, we will get our next injection of direct to Historic cards. How are deck prices compared to Magic? When I played, they were cheaper, but it's a secondary market, so I assume there's some variation in set to set, season to season. Especially with these 2 Mire Tritons in my hand, ready to gain 4. I'm just going to try and kill them in the air here. Rekindling Phoenix is a very good card. It's a tough one to race, chat. All right, gain 4, crack you for 7. We are, if they have nothing else, we are currently winning this race. Sick. Maybe I want some Bedevils in this 75. I feel like having 0 instant speed ways to kill Cleave is probably a miss. Hey, Captain Command. Hope life's treating you swell. What defines a hero? I don't know. Probably the most basic definition, probably someone that does something selfless for someone else for a goal other than improving their own position. I guess that's what makes it selfless, right? Be defined by a selfless act. Second Dragonskull Summit. All right, so I think we get Swamp to start now, because Swamp will bring the rest of these into play untapped. To a real hero, you'd type me out. Alright, so they probably have Bonecrusher, so I definitely just want to play Kroxa here. So that way they can't just, like, if I play the Calls the Dead. Card's a little annoying. I think we're just... Are we Murderous Ridering that? I don't really have other good plays here, huh? Unfortunately, this hand hasn't had any good ways to get set up for... Had any good ways to get set up to escape this back. The dino is very angry. Oh, I'm dumb. I saved them a point of life there, right? So I'm aware that I just foobarred that. This is symmetrical, so they would have taken one. It was Beefster. Grixis. We played Grixis Sadness and Pioneer this morning. Grixis Sadness resolved. It's a shame Disfigure doesn't work here. This is hexproof on their turn, otherwise we could kill it. Hey, that's actually a really good pickup here. Not only does this trade with Spellbreaker, but it puts 2 cards in my bin so we can escape a 6/6 next turn, right? So next turn I get to go Kroxa plus Calls the Dead. Interesting. Kind of surprised. Do they not realize this has Death Touch? Do they just not care? So we're actually in, like, a really good spot here, huh? Because, like, their last card in hand, I get to take with Kroxa here. And then, like, this trades. And I've got this, and this left over. He's so angry, chat. And this can gain us a bunch of life back out of their graveyard, which is excellent. His activated ability. I think I'm just gonna stomp them and play a 4/3 out. Hey, nice Rilum. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That archetype's really sweet. I agree. All right, solidly not dead yet. That gains us 2. Kill that. I'm going to leave Bonecrusher Giant back here so we don't die to a Questing Beast or a Spellbreaker. Oh, I could have gained 2 more, right? Yeah, let's just do that now. Vivian's not even that big of a deal here because we just attack her. She draws a card, but we get to attack her down in combat next turn.
So much more reliable than
There's only 2 cards in my bin right now, so not really close to escaping either of these. Oh, they could shoot Tamriel. Tiamat here? It's an enchantment, right?
feel.
Yeah.
I've seen
Awkward.
worse.
Okay, so gotta kill this. This is a good play on their part because it means, oh wait, this is an awesome draw. That means I can play, I was gonna say, that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna decline this because now I can escape this. And now I don't die to Questing Beast or Spellbreaker. Well, I wouldn't die to Spellbreaker anyway, so Dragon is their only card that kills us, and they're dead on board, right? Because this attacks for 9 when they're empty-handed. I think this archetype's worth exploring in Standard, too. It was really good when we played it in Standard. And Bonecrusher means they're dead here. Rider is a zombie, and gives you an extra life and scry with that. Yeah, the Kroxa plus Calls the Dead is real good. The Rekindling Phoenix has also been great in these sets we've played in Historic so far, though, which is a card you don't get to play in Standard. So that's worth noting. I don't think Stormfist Crusader is very good in this archetype, largely because our deck's not super aggressive. We do have some aggressive draws. This is a mid-range deck, and I think Stormfist Crusader is not very good in decks that can't kill the opponent before they take advantage of the cards. Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yeah, that could be an okay card. Yeah, and I'm saying that I don't think it's very good in Standard. I'm going to play this. They're going to bounce it with Teferi, and I'm going to be really sad, but that's what it is. I think Knight of the Ebon Legion could be worth considering. I agree with that. That's... Alright, so you need to put a stop on my upkeep here, because I can kill her before we get to our second draw. No, this is fine, because I have Murderous Rider. What's the non-bow between Kroxa and Stormfist? There's not a non-bow there. Stormfist just isn't good in mid-range decks, which is what this is. Alright, I think I just play Phoenix and kill Teferi this turn. Or are they missing a land? That'd be really good. No, they have... Oh, they are. That's a great draw because it gives me a 2-drop to play with my 3-drop here. And it gives me cards in the bin to rebuy this Phoenix after they kill it. Ah, yes. The old Kaya's Wrath Interplanar Beacon deck. They should probably be playing Shatter the Sky in their Interplanar Beacon deck. Once upon a time, you didn't have an option, but we have an option now.
Let's slow this down.
Wait, they just bounced my... Yes, thank you. I appreciate you, opponent. Thank you for putting more cards in my bin. Oh. Huh. So, the Fabled Passage here means I could escape this, but I think I'd rather just get this back into play. I think I'd rather just get this back into play. Yeah, I think it's important to resolve this.
Just the trick for this.
This card, man. Prison cards, chat. I think I just pass here, and I'm going to draw with Castle on their turn. Although maybe it's wrong to pay 3 life with this out. I don't know, like, so like, escape does give us a repeatable effect, but the problem is that, like, you can only escape so many times. Alright, sweet. That's a phenomenal draw, because it lets us craft a game plan here. I think it's just this one. Again, prioritize leaving creatures and enchantments in here, so that way you can exile them to Calls the Dead later. I mean, they don't have land, right? So like their hand is all gas. It makes sense. No, I don't think I really care if they thought Erasure. I think I want to just like pressure their hand a little bit and beat them down. Hey, thanks for the 3 months, Reverend. I appreciate the quarter viewer support. Welcome back. Like, what are they gonna do? Play this and bubble my thing? Like, great, you still discard a card, and this is gonna kill this in 1 turn by pumping? Like, alright, I guess.
I'm excellent in your... well, not.
Eat 2 Extinction's a fine draw here. They only lose 3 life if they discard a non-land. So remember, this card is not blue-green. You don't always get to do everything with it. Cards that are not Simic colored have to have drawbacks and restrictions, chat. Welcome to Magic in 2020. Yes, had they discarded a land, this is life loss, so they would still lose 3. So the distinction on life loss versus not there is important. I don't even know if I want the extra arena. I don't know. I don't even know if this card's good. It was like fine there, I guess, but like they probably have 4 in our set. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut 2 of these for 2 of these and click submit, I think. I think it's, if we see Dream Trawler, I'll bring in the Dreadhorde General for the 3rd game, but they might not have Dream Trawler in their Planeswalker deck. I'm gonna mulligan this. Can I have the 7 back, chat? Do you think if I ask really nicely, they'll give me my 7 back? Looking for lands. Looking for lands. Yeah, Sarkhan, I agree. Well, they're Esper, right? So they might not have Sarkhan. We didn't see any red cards. Sarkhan seems potentially unlikely. Sure, we hit 3 lands in 3 turns, even if they are all tapped lands, so it's a good start. Oh, they missed their land drop. That's exciting. Gonna fetch now. Again, get my auto pass value in here.
Stand by and watch.
Them cashing that in right away means I just get to do this. Rekindling Phoenix looking pretty medium in the face of these 2 cards. Isn't Magic fun? The fun part of Magic is where I get to do stuff. I like doing stuff, chat. It's fun. I put a stop on my upkeep because if we drew a Murderous Rider there, we could kill this before it got to do anything. Before it got to stop our draw step. I mean, I don't think this matchup is bad for us. Like, we mulligan to 5 here and we're playing a game. It's just, you know, kind of sad because 2019 Magic is a lot of cards that are kind of sad in it. Oh, I couldn't because of Tef. All right, game 3 on the play. Game 3 on the play. They revealed Thought Erasure there. We're going to get Draw Step Thought Erasure. Let's just skip on over that, huh? I've seen enough. I'm still advocating we ban 2019 in all formats. I would settle for just War of the Spark. Or just Teferi and Nissa. There were plenty of good designs in 2019. They're just, the ones that were bad are so bad, they really stand out in the memory. GRN was 2018 technically, right? GRN was 2018? Well, I don't care about Modern Horizons. That format's sustained anyways. Oko, I agree with that. Oko is very, very close to being a great design. It fell a little bit short, but overall it came real close. Hopefully they leave us Calls of the Dead so we can get Kroxa back. That's sad. What do you think if Teferi Static Tech said your spells have split second instead? Thanks for the 24 months, Zeal. I think that would be fine. I think there's infinite things you could do to fix their mess ups. You could make Oko a -1. You could make Teferi Static Text be Grand Abolisher, which says your opponents can't play spells on your turn, so you could still respond on your own turn. There's so many little details they could have changed ever so slightly. Yeah, I agree, Corel. There's a reason why we hadn't seen like traditional prison cards printed in a long time, and I think a lot of the cards that were bad from War of the Spark were deviations from not printing prison cards. Especially one-sided prison effects, like at least ones that are symmetrical, like Doom Foretold is at least a card you have to build around, right? Like, I think Doom Foretold, yes, exactly, Drive, we got there at the same time. I think that's a fantastic example of this is fine. Completely agree. Hopefully we draw an untapped black source, so I get to go Remorse plus Rider this turn. Double Remorse will also do. Hey, Nick Taz, thank you for re-upping that Prime for the second month. Welcome back to Hoaglandia. This also gives me enough cards in my bin to escape the Titan here, which is great. Yes, I think it was just an excellent example overall of cards that give bonuses are better than cards that take things away. Fabled Passage, again, starting to get our food back going for this this Titan. We got 4 cards in the bin already. Need 2 more for this. Perfect. Yes. Yeah, I know Tamiyo has gone into a number of decks that sucked, but I think as a whole, 4-mana Tamiyo is a thumbs up in terms of this is a good Planeswalker with a static text. Akil, thank you for the 12 months support. I appreciate the entire year. Welcome back. Rain Spider, thank you for the 19 months. Happy Thursday, folks.
Might be a bad idea.
This deck's been gas. We should work on this archetype some more in Standard too. I like mid-range decks, believe it or not, chat. That's why I've been sad that they haven't been playable. And this mid-range deck might be just aggressive enough to be super fine. Just aggressive enough and grindy enough against control. That's not strictly true, Save-In. Her static text was often relevant because you wanted to discard spell the Nexus deck. Red, Black, Titan, and Pioneer. Maybe it could be okay. I think this plus Calls the Dead is very reasonable synergy. The question about this deck in Pioneer is this card powerful enough for Pioneer? And backed up by Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, it might be. Like, Thoughtseize and Fatal Push are definitely some of the best cheap interaction in that format. Hey, look at that. Triton drew the Kroxa. So we'll get to go Calls the Dead next turn and then get going there. Yeah, okay. Playing against Big Red Fires. I'm into it. Think I just do this turn. This weekend is 2 Pioneer Players Tour events. So I believe it's Europe and Japan had their Players Tours, regional Players Tours this weekend. And then next weekend is the US Regional Players Tour. Am I supposed to do this? They only have 3 lands. I'm just going to do this. Just get my big boy into play here. What is the Players Tour? So I actually really like what they redid with Magic's organized play this year. So they split the Pro Tour into regional events, basically. So there's 3 different Players Tours that are regional, and then all of the regionals Players Tours events feed into a Players Tour finals that's one for the globe, I believe. and you can only play in one regional players tour per season. So like there won't be players who play in the Europe or the Japan players tours that then fly to America and play in that one the following weekend. Hey, Stone Age. Thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate it. Good to see some of the old Hexers around. One of the things we do around here now is when folks have subbed for over a year, I give them a sword. So you've got 15 months. So have some mod powers. Use them wisely. Neither of those are a card that let me kill these, so I think I just bottomed them because these currently hold my 6/6 Sip Bay. Looking for another Stomp or a Murderous Rider. Good. Let's get rid of that one before they flip this and get to cast it. I think I just passed here. Once we can find a way through these, we'll be able to kill them relatively quickly with our Titan. Hey, Shakti, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Okay, you can stop that one. And then I assume they're just going to play a 4-3 out here. Cavalier, sure. I haven't listened to the new... I listened to one of the tracks off the new Eminem album, but I really should sit down and listen to all of it. It's been a long while. Hey, Alec, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. I appreciate the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Did we bottom 3 lands before that one? Yeah, of course. There's 4 lands at the bottom of my deck. To be fair though, like 6 plus 4, that's 10 lands, and we've seen 20 plus 4 cards. So like we've only seen 10 lands and 24 cards, which is about average. It's within a few standard deviations of the mean. I think we might be dead here. I guess I can go trade. Yeah, I think the plan is trade, jump. We've got 3 cards in my bin at the moment. So I'm two off of this coming back. So I'm killing my egg in response here because then their Bonecrusher gets countered. Alright, and we're back to the waiting to kill a Goblin Chain Whirler game. Although my opponent does have Arc and Treasure Cove with 2 treasures in play, so we're definitely a little bit behind at the moment. Yep. Yeah, the more I play with this card, the less impressed by it I am. Yeah, Friction Arena. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm getting run down too often for Friction Arena to be particularly good. Yeah, we're just dead. Libation in as a way to interact with some of their stuff. We'll bring in these as a little bit bigger removal. Yeah, I think I'm cutting these. I think they're just too aggressive for that card to be very good. This seems real bad against Goblin Chain Whirler. Maybe I just bring in a cheeky Disfigure to be able to attack through Chain Whirlers. Yeah, 3 mana to not impact the board is medium. No Bedevils in my 75 is definitely wrong. That's definitely a change I would make after playing this set. It might be correct that, like, Eat to Extinction's a sideboard card in this format, and I want Bedevil in the main. Like, having the flexibility to kill artifacts I think might be marginally better than exiling. Oh, that's a good thought, Tom. Yeah, I think you're right that I should bring in Tiamat. Do dies triggers still fire with Leyline? They do not. The act of dying requires the card being put into the graveyard, and they do not actually get placed into the graveyard with Leyline of the Void. They're exiled instead. Refer to that as a replacement effect. I think I'm supposed to keep this here. I do kind of want to draw a 4th land, but Murderous Rider seems pretty good in this matchup. Perfect. Yeah, I think this was a good inclusion of this format. Again, like I said, I like a lot of the anthology cards that they put in for the most part. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in here. So if I exile this, I can't escape Kroxa this turn, but I think I want to eat the Phoenix this turn anyway, so that's fine. And then next turn, the Eat will be in there, so I can escape Kroxa that way. So might as well get my extra zombie here. Yeah, that's fine, right? In for a 5th land. No, I don't think that's an effect we're interested in, V-Ball. Risk Factor is not very good in mid-range decks. Again, this is a mid-range deck. It's not an aggro deck. Our deck's very interactive. It's possible that, like, this deck just plays enough lands that we're interested... It's possible this deck plays enough land that we're interested in just, like, putting 6 mana Liliana in the main. That's a card that's just, like, super reasonable. It could maybe even be, are there 25 or 26 lands in this deck? Does anybody know offhand? Can someone look at the thing for me? I don't remember. I think it's 25. Like, I think if it's 25, you probably cut the arenas. Yeah, so it's 25. So you probably cut the arenas and then play a 26 land and like 1 6-mana Lily main. It's probably not unreasonable. Just play like a black castle and a Liliana. Could be fine. That frees up a board slot. So you can get some Bedevils into the 75 as well. This card kills people very quickly. Oh, do they have a lava coil here? Rough. Okay, well, I mean, like, this deck's got a good density of things that, like, you need to lava coil, right? So, like, I get to drop a Phoenix now. Honestly, I hope they keep cards like this in this format that aren't in Pioneer explicitly, because I think it would be really good for Magic Arena as a whole. Is even once we get Pioneer on this platform, it would be great if Pioneer, Historic, and Standard all feel unique for different reasons. As I've often said, the biggest strength Magic has over these other card games that exist now is the variety of play modes. And having this feel unique would be a net positive for the client. Like having 3 genuinely unique formats. All right, so they're dead if they don't have anything here. You sack a creature, hit you for 8, stomp you. Yeah, I agree. Not only we wanted Call's Death, right? I'm gonna cut the Disfigure in something else. We don't need 2 Lilianas this matchup. If you want to see this archetype played in Standard too, if you've liked the Historic play, there is a video of us playing something very close to this deck in Standard. It's what I modeled. This was a build-around submission for Historic, and I modeled the build-around submission off the Standard build. So I'm going to let them scry here. And then after they've scryed before they draw, I'm going to edict them off the enchantment. So this way they made their decisions thinking they had a fires, and now they don't. Yeah, this card's super reasonable. And between Libation and Bedevil, these colors can interact with every card type now, right? So, like, I think there might be something to this in this format and Standard, just because of the range of interaction you have. So we're in, like, an okay spot at the moment. The problem is that they have these 2 treasure maps in play, which each represent 3 additional cards in the long run. And, like, I don't have any tools currently to kill them in the short run. So this game is likely to go wrong. I'm hoping that they play a creature here that we want a Murderous Rider, so that way next turn we can go land, Swift, and Murderous Rider, get more pressure into play while also killing them. Yeah, the pre-con queue in... Really wish I had Bedevil. Really wish I had Bedevil. Hate to draw a lot of cards now. So this lets them draw an extra card each turn and their spells are cheaper. We're probably dead from here. They're just gonna draw a lot. Yeah, the pre-con queue is something Arena could use. It's something Magic Online does really well. So I think I Swift end this, so that way I can play my threat out next turn. This also allows me to save the Eat to Extinction for a Phoenix potentially later. This is only doing 1 to me, so it's not too big of a deal. Again, my opponent just has so much card advantage as this game goes long at this point. I just want to, like, make as aggressive plays as possible to get this game over with. Sure, yeah, the community decks like Mythgard has where you can play in the regular queue. Also a very good thing that's new player friendly. I actually forgot about that in the moment. The community deck queue that Mythgard does is better than the Pokemon thing, I think. Giving players a taste of what real decks look like and like what the full gameplay is a big deal. It encourages people to experience the game to encourage them to spend money on it. What happened with Mythgard content? Their sponsorship was, my contract with them for sponsored stuff was through the end of the year, and then I honestly just stopped playing it in my off time too. The gameplay's still good and I enjoy the game, but it's just, they don't have a deep enough card pool yet as a newer game to like hold my attention long term. So I'll probably dip back in when they release their second set later this year. Yeah, it needs more sets. It's tough for new games to survive to get new sets out, but like if that one can, it would be good. Yeah, Magic got good again as well. We've been talking a little bit about Raid Shadow Legends. That's the mobile game I've been playing in my off time. So like my gym mobile game time has been Raid recently. Hey, we finished the White Mastery tree, sweet. Got good looking Shatters and Heliod's now, God bless. 3 out of 5. Alright, as far as this deck is concerned, I tried Phyrexian Arena in here because I just wanted to try some more cards that were specific to Historic, but it just isn't very good. I consistently felt like, just like, this card didn't impact the board and then it slowly killed me and it just didn't feel good even in the really controlling matchups. I think what I would do is I'd cut all those from the 75, I'd add... Shadow Legends actually hasn't given me any money. In fact, quite the opposite. I've paid them a little bit of money. If they offered to give me money, I would take their money. But I was looking for something new because I'd kind of played through enough of, what's it called? Yeah, they've been advertising it for us. Like, let's give it a try. I actually enjoyed it. So I think the other 2 cards I want are Bedevil, and I think while I want Eat to Extinction in my 75 because exiling is useful and the Surveil is fine, I think I would rather have Bedevil in the main because killing Embercleave is valuable. What do I do in the gym that I can play a mobile game at the same time? You can play in between reps. It's a turn-based strategy game. So I'll do a set of reps, play a little bit during my 90-second to 2-minute break, do a set of reps, play a little bit. And then usually I walk on the treadmill I try to walk like 2.5 to 3 miles when I go to the gym. So I play while I walk. The gym itself is a turn-based strategy game. It really is. Yeah, so I think this is what I would do. And again, I think this archetype is also worth exploring in Standard, but Phoenix was a really huge upgrade here in Historic. Like, was just very clutch in a number of the games that we played. All right, what are we doing next? We got one more Historic deck today. Tuesday and Thursday are going to be shorter streams here in Oaklandia, with Monday, Wednesday, Friday running a little bit longer. As our last Historic deck of the day, we are going to go and dive on into some enchantment zombies here. I'm going to do a quick ad roll. I get everything flipped over and set up for this next one. And when we get back, we're going to jam some matches with this mono black deck. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.